What do you do when the family you've poured your life into calls you a burden behind your back? I'm June Whittaker, 74, a retired Army nurse living in the quiet suburbs of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I thought I'd faced every kind of pain, until a single message cracked my world open. It was past midnight, the desert air thick with silence. My living room was dim, lit only by a flickering lamp, the faint scent of dust and old wood curling around me. My phone pinged, sharp against the stillness, a text from my granddaughter, Mira. "Grandma June, you need to see this. I'm so sorry." My stomach twisted. Mira never sent messages like that. I tapped the video, and there they were, my adopted daughter Sabrina and her husband Liam, their voices dripping with venom. "She's dead weight," Liam spat, his words like a slap. "That Santa Fe condo could solve everything, but she's too stubborn to sell." Sabrina's laugh cut deeper, icy and cruel. "She owes us, Liam. We've put up with her long enough." My hands shook, the phone's cold metal biting my palms. The screen's blue glow stung my eyes, each syllable carving a wound. Dead weight? After all I'd done? When my son-in-law called me a burden behind my back, it broke me. But this is how I turned that pain into power. I needed to reclaim my dignity, even if it cost me the family I loved. What do you think I did next? Stay with me. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. If it's grabbing you, hit that like button to let us know. Tell us where you're tuning in from. 5 years ago, I stood in a bank, the air heavy with the sharp tang of ink and polished wood. My pen hovered over the mortgage papers for Sabrina and Liam's house. Sabrina's eyes sparkled as she hugged me. "You're our everything, Mom," she'd whispered. Through Juniper Trust, my secret company, I'd covered 80% of their mortgage, $165,000, letting them believe they were paying a bank. It was my gift, my sacrifice, to see them thrive. Now that gift felt like a betrayal. I stumbled to my desk, the floor creaking underfoot. My laptop hummed to life, its light harsh against the dark. My fingers, stiff with age, tapped frantically through financial records. How could they say this? The numbers blurred, $165,000, years of my savings gone for them. My pulse raced, betrayal sinking in like a cold desert wind. "I gave them my heart, my home, my life," I murmured, my voice breaking in the empty room. "And this is how they repay me?" Shock turned to rage, a fire sparking deep inside. I glanced at a photo on my desk, Sabrina's wedding, her veil catching the light. The faint whiff of her rose perfume clung to it, a cruel echo of love. When did I lose them? Liam's sneer replayed in my mind, Sabrina's laugh a haunting loop. Mira's warning meant she'd seen their truth too. I couldn't just sit here, I had to know what else they were hiding. What's their next move? "You won't believe the sacrifices I made for them. Don't turn away now." How far would you go for the ones you call family? That question haunts me now, sitting in the dim glow of my Albuquerque living room, Liam's words, dead weight, still burning in my ears. I'm June Whittaker, 74, a retired Army nurse who thought love could build a family stronger than blood. But as I trace the years back, I wonder, was my sacrifice worth it? The night air was heavy, carrying the dry scent of desert sage through my open window. My hands rested on a stack of financial papers, the edges worn from years of careful handling. Each page was a piece of my life given away, $165,000 poured into Sabrina and Liam's home through Juniper Trust, my secret shield to keep them secure. I closed my eyes and the past flooded in, vivid as the day it happened. I was 54, standing at my husband's funeral, the air thick with the sharp sting of lilies and grief. Sabrina, just 10, clung to me, her small hands trembling. She wasn't my blood, my husband's daughter from his first marriage, but she was mine. "Don't leave me, June," she'd sobbed, her tears soaking my dress. I knelt, promising to be her rock. That day, I swore to give her everything, to fill the void her father left. The memory aches now, her voice a ghost in my heart. Years later, I made good on that promise. I sat in a Santa Fe bank, the room cold, smelling of fresh ink and polished wood. My pen scratched across the mortgage papers for Sabrina and Liam's house, each signature a piece of my future signed away. Sweat beaded on my brow, not from heat but from the weight of it. My army pension, my savings, funneled through Juniper Trust to cover 80% of their loan. They thought they were paying a bank, but it was me, always me, holding their dream together. Sabrina's smile that day was my reward. "You're a miracle, Mom," she'd said, her arms around me. Liam nodded, his eyes warm then, not yet cold with greed. But time changed them. I leaned back in my chair, the creak of old wood grounding me. The distance grew subtle at first. Missed dinners, short calls. I remembered one evening, standing in their kitchen, the air sharp with garlic and wine. I'd driven over, hoping to share a meal. Liam's voice was clipped, dismissive. "June, we're kind of busy tonight. Maybe next week?" Sabrina just smiled, her eyes avoiding mine. I left, the weight of rejection settling like dust. It wasn't just one night. It was a pattern, their gratitude fading as their lives grew fuller. "Did I give too much?" I whispered to the empty room, my voice swallowed by the dark. I thought love was enough, but maybe I was wrong. My chest tightened, doubt creeping in like a shadow. I'd built their world, but now I wondered if I'd built my own cage. What did I miss? Their words from Mira's video replayed. Sabrina's laugh, Liam's sneer. Had I been blind to their true selves all along? I stood, my knees stiff, and crossed to a box in the corner, its cardboard soft with age. Inside was a letter from Sabrina, written years ago when she left for college. The paper smelled of old ink and time, her looping handwriting a reminder of the girl who once called me her hero. "You're my home, Mom," she'd written. I held it, my fingers tracing the words, searching for the truth behind them. Was that girl gone forever? The papers on my desk stared back, a ledger of my sacrifices, $165,000, countless late nights, a life reshaped for them. And yet, Liam called me a burden. Sabrina agreed. The betrayal wasn't just in their words. It was in the years I'd given, now thrown back in my face. I needed answers. What were they planning behind my back? "You'll be stunned by what I found next. Don't stop here." How do you face the people who've been plotting against you, smiling to your face while sharpening their knives? I'm June Whittaker, and after hearing Liam call me deadweight and Sabrina laugh along, I knew something darker was coming. The video Mira sent was just the beginning. What were they planning to take from me next? The morning after Mira's message, I sat at my desk, the Albuquerque sun barely cutting through the blinds. The air smelled of stale coffee, its bitterness matching my mood. My laptop glowed, casting shadows on stacks of financial papers. I opened my banking app, my fingers hesitant on the keys. The Juniper Trust record stared back, $165,000 paid for Sabrina and Liam's house. But then I found it, a group chat screenshot Mira had forwarded, buried in my email. Liam, Sabrina, and someone labeled advisor, discussing how to secure my Santa Fe condo and declare me unfit to manage my finances. My heart pounded, their words a cold blade. If she resists, we'll push for guardianship. I remembered Sabrina's promise years ago, her voice soft after a long hospital shift. We sat in my old kitchen, the smell of baked bread warming the air. "You'll never be alone, Mom," she'd said, her hand on mine. "I'll always take care of you." I'd believed her, her eyes so sincere. Now those words mocked me, twisted into a plan to strip me of everything, my home, my dignity, my freedom. The dinner invitation came that afternoon, Sabrina's text falsely sweet. "Mom, come over tonight, we need to talk." I knew it was a trap, but I went. Their dining room was bright, the table set with gleaming plates, but the air felt heavy, laced with the sour tang of overcooked roast. Liam leaned forward, his smile too smooth. "June, we're worried about your mental health," he said, his voice dripping with fake concern. "Managing all those assets must be exhausting." Sabrina nodded, her eyes flickering. "Maybe it's time to transfer some things to us, for your sake." I gripped my phone under the table, its recorder running, capturing every lie. Their words were a script, rehearsed to push me out. They think I'm a fool, I thought, my pulse thundering in my ears. After all I've given, they want to cage me? Rage surged, hot and sharp, but I kept my face calm, my voice steady. I'd played the naive mother too long, but no more. Their plan was clear: control my money, my condo, my life. But they didn't know I was already one step ahead. What did they expect me to do? Just surrender? I played along, nodding, murmuring vague agreements. The food sat untouched, its smell turning my stomach. Liam's eyes glinted, thinking he'd won. Sabrina's smile was a mask, her warmth a lie. As I left, the Albuquerque night wrapped around me, the wind cold and biting against my skin. Mira waited by my car, her face pale. "Did they try anything?" she whispered. I nodded, my resolve hardening. She hugged me, and in that moment I knew I wasn't alone. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time. So, if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments. The recording burned in my pocket, evidence of their betrayal. I drove home, the city lights blurring through my anger. Liam and Sabrina thought they could manipulate me, but they'd underestimated me. I'd spent years as an army nurse facing crises with steady hands. This was no different. I had to act to protect myself and Mira, but how far would I go to stop them? June will do something to counter Liam and Sabrina. Don't miss what happens next. How do you fight back when the people you love try to take everything from you? I'm June Whittaker, and after hearing Liam and Sabrina plot to control my life, their fake concern at that dinner still ringing in my ears, I knew I couldn't just wait for their next move. The recording of their lies was my weapon, but I needed a plan, something sharp, precise, to turn their betrayal back on them. What could I do to protect myself and Mira? The morning after that suffocating dinner, I sat in my Albuquerque living room, the air heavy with the musty scent of old books and morning dew. Sunlight sliced through the blinds, casting jagged shadows across my desk. My hands, steady despite their age, flipped through Juniper Trust documents. Those papers held the truth. I'd paid $165,000 for their house, a secret they never suspected. Now, that secret was my leverage. I remembered my husband's voice, years ago, in our old Santa Fe home. The fireplace crackled, its smoky warmth wrapping around us. "June," he'd said, his eyes serious, "you're tougher than anyone I know. Never let anyone make you doubt that." I'd laughed then, brushing it off, but his words stuck, a quiet strength I carried through my army nursing days. Now, facing Liam and Sabrina's betrayal, I felt that strength stir. They thought I was weak, but I'd show them who I was. I called Mira and my old army colleague Ellen, a lawyer who'd seen me through tougher battles. We met at Ellen's office, a small room in downtown Albuquerque. The space smelled of fresh coffee and leather, the morning light glinting off polished bookshelves. Mira sat beside me, her young face fierce with loyalty. Ellen's pen tapped the desk, her gaze sharp. "June, the Juniper Trust gives you control," Ellen said, sliding a contract toward me. "Miss their next $3,100 payment and the house reverts to you. They'll never see it coming." Mira squeezed my hand. "We've got this, Grandma," she whispered. I nodded, my jaw tight. This was our move. They'll learn what happens when you bite the hand that feeds you, I thought, my heart pounding with a mix of hope and fear. I'd spent years building their world, but now I'd reclaim mine. The plan was simple but ruthless. Let their payment lapse, trigger the trust's clause, and take back the house. Could I really do this to Sabrina, the girl I'd raised? The question gnawed, but their betrayal left me no choice. What if I failed? We mapped every detail, timelines, legal notices, contingencies. Ellen's office felt like a war room, each word a step toward justice. The leather chair creaked under me, grounding me in the moment. I pictured Liam's smug smile, Sabrina's false tears, and my resolve hardened. They'd underestimated me, but I wasn't just a mother or a grandmother. I was a soldier, and this was my fight. As I left the office, the Albuquerque sky was gray, the air sharp with the promise of rain. Mira walked beside me, her presence a reminder of who I was fighting for. The plan was set, the pieces in place, but it hinged on precision. One misstep, and I could lose everything. Would our strategy outsmart Liam and Sabrina, or had they already planned their next trap? Will June's plan succeed, or is she walking into danger? Stay tuned to find out. How do you face the moment when everything you fought for hangs in the balance? I'm June Whittaker, and after uncovering Liam and Sabrina's plot to take my home and freedom, I'd set my plan in motion with Mira and Ellen. The Juniper Trust was my ace, and now it was time to play it. Would I finally make them see the truth, or lose everything? The day started with a quiet tension, the Albuquerque air warm and golden, carrying the sweet scent of blooming desert flowers. I stood in my living room clutching the legal notice from Juniper Trust. My hands, steady from years as an Army nurse, held the paper that would change everything. Liam and Sabrina's missed $300 100 payment had triggered the trust's clause. The house was mine again. I remembered the night I first decided to fight back, after Mira's video shattered my trust. I'd sat at my desk, the lamp's dim glow casting shadows on my face. "I won't let them win," I'd whispered, my voice fierce. That spark of resolve had carried me through every step, every late-night call with Ellen, every moment of doubt. Now, as I held the notice, that spark was afire, burning bright. The phone rang, shrill and urgent. It was Sabrina, her voice frantic through the speaker. "Mom, what's going on? We got a letter from some Juniper Trust saying we're being evicted." Liam's voice cut in, sharp and accusing. "Fix this, June. You owe us that much." I let the silence stretch, my heart racing but my resolve unshaken. This was the moment I'd prepared for. I took a breath, my voice calm but steel-edged. "No need to worry," I said, pausing for effect. "I'm Juniper Trust." The line went dead quiet. Sabrina stammered, "What? What do you mean?" Liam's voice cracked. "That's impossible." I smiled, a weight lifting. "I've paid $165,000 for your house over 5 years, thinking you were paying a bank, but it was me, and now it's mine." Their shock was palpable, a victory sweeter than I'd imagined. I'm free, I thought, my chest light for the first time in months. They called me dead weight, but I carried them all along. Relief washed over me, warm and bright, like the sunlight spilling through my window. I'd given them everything, my savings, my love, and they'd thrown it away. But now, I'd taken back my power. Was this justice enough, or just the start? The confrontation wasn't loud or dramatic, just a phone call that shattered their world. Liam and Sabrina's voices faded into stunned silence, their plans crumbling. I hung up, the room glowing with late afternoon light, the air crisp with the scent of pine from an open window. Justice wasn't just reclaiming the house, it was reclaiming me. If you're cheering for my victory, smash that like button. What do you think about this moment of justice? Let us know in the comments. They didn't go quietly. Days later, I learned they'd trashed the house, broken windows, ruined walls, thinking spite would hurt me. But I'd planned for that too, with insurance clauses Ellen had insisted on. Their tantrum only sealed their defeat. Mira stood by me, her loyalty a beacon. As I walked through the empty house, its bare walls echoing my footsteps, I saw not loss but possibility. What would I do with this victory? Where will this triumph lead me? You won't want to miss what's next. What do you find when you've lost the family you thought you had? I'm June Whittaker, and after taking back my house from Liam and Sabrina, I stood in the wreckage of their betrayal. The victory was mine, but it left a hollow space where love once lived. Could I rebuild something stronger? Not just for me, but for others like me. The Albuquerque morning was soft, the air warm with the scent of fresh paint and possibility. I stood in the house Liam and Sabrina had trashed, its walls now patched and gleaming under new light. This wasn't just a house anymore. It was the Whittaker home, a non-profit haven for women facing financial abuse. Mira stood beside me, her young hands holding a paint roller, her smile a mirror of my hope. I remembered the night Liam's words, dead weight, cut me open. I'd sat alone, the dim glow of my laptop casting shadows on my tear-streaked face. Their betrayal had broken something in me, but it also woke something fiercer. That night I'd vowed to fight, not just for justice, but for the woman I'd forgotten I was. Now, standing in this reborn space, that vow felt like a promise kept. Mira and I sat on the porch later, the evening sun painting the sky in hues of gold and pink. The air carried the faint hum of women's voices inside, survivors, like me, finding their footing. "Grandma," Mira said, her voice steady, "you've given them a home. You've given me one, too." I turned to her, my throat tight. "Mira, you're the one who saved me," I said. "Thank you for staying." Her hug was fierce, a bond stronger than any blood tie. In her loyalty, I saw the family I'd always wanted. I found myself again, I thought, my heart full as the sunset warmed my skin. I'm not the woman who gave too much, nor the one they called a burden. I'm June Whittaker, and I'm enough. Happiness bloomed, quiet but unshakable. The Whittaker home wasn't just a building. It was proof that pain could birth purpose. Had I finally healed, or was there more to learn? The center grew, its rooms filled with laughter and stories. I walked its halls, the scent of new, fresh-baked cookies drifting from the kitchen where women shared their dreams. The walls, once scarred by Liam and Sabrina's rage, now held photos of new beginnings. Mira helped manage the place, her energy a spark that lit up every corner. This was our legacy, built from ashes, and it felt like home. What lesson did you take away from my journey? Share it in the comments. If this story inspired you, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. As I looked out over the women gathered in the garden, their voices rising in song, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. I'd lost a daughter I'd raised, a son-in-law I'd trusted, but I'd gained something greater, a family of the heart, bound by gratitude and strength. What was the biggest lesson waiting for me at the end of this road? The final lesson June learned is waiting. Don't miss it. What do you hold on to when the family you built turns against you? I'm June Whittaker, 74, standing at the end of a journey that broke my heart and remade it. Taking back my house from Liam and Sabrina, building the Whittaker home with Mira, it all led me here, to a truth I never expected. What was the lesson waiting for me? The Albuquerque evening was gentle, the air rich with the scent of blooming jasmine and warm earth. I stood in the garden of the Whittaker home, the center I'd created for women like me. Laughter floated from the open windows, a melody of new beginnings. The sunset painted the sky in soft pinks, its glow wrapping me in peace. This place, born from pain, was now my heart's home. I saw myself months ago, reeling from Liam's cruel words, dead weight, and Sabrina's cold laugh. I'd stood in my dim living room, the weight of their betrayal crushing me. "How could I have been so blind?" I'd whispered, my voice lost in the dark. That moment of despair had sparked my fight, pushing me to reclaim my life. Now, as I looked at the women around me, I realized that pain had forged something unbreakable. Mira joined me in the garden, her steps light on the stone path. Her eyes, so like her grandfather's, sparkled with pride. "Grandma, look at what you've done," she said, gesturing to the women sharing stories under the string lights. "You've given them hope." I smiled, my voice soft. "Mira, we did this together. Family isn't blood, it's gratitude, like yours." She nodded, her hand finding mine, and in that touch I felt the truth of my words. I've lived for others, but now I live for me, I thought, my heart steady as the jasmine's perfume filled the air. I'm not defined by what I lost, but by what I built. Happiness settled deep, a quiet strength I'd earned. Liam and Sabrina had taken my trust, but they couldn't take my spirit. The Whittaker home, these women, Mira, they were my family now, bound by love that honored sacrifice. The center thrived, its rooms alive with purpose. I walked its halls daily, the walls adorned with photos of women rebuilding their lives. The scent of fresh coffee lingered from morning gatherings, a reminder of shared resilience. I wasn't just a retired nurse or a betrayed mother. I was a woman who'd turned pain into power, who'd learned that family means those who lift you up, not tear you down. Don't miss more stories like this. Hit that subscribe button now. If this story moved you, share it with someone who'd love it. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. As I stood in the garden, the stars emerging above, I knew I'd found my place. The Whittaker home would grow, carrying my legacy forward. I'd faced betrayal and emerged stronger, surrounded by a family of the heart. My lesson was clear. True family is built on gratitude, and resilience is the courage to rise again. This was my story, and I was whole.